think the hardest part of TIG welding for me personally is just getting comfortable.
That's what we do.
This piece is solid steel. This is like my favorite piece in the entire shop. I use it when I'm doing transmission work on the press, wheel bearings, whatever, and it's heavy. So like today I propped the flex pipe up here, and then I placed the flange and then this on top to keep it weighted. And then also I did that because I needed to use the vise as a source of ground, because clamping the ground on here is going to be rolling around. It's just too much stuff. So literally it was almost stationary at that point, and all I had to do was focus on just tacking it up. But I love this piece right here. It's crazy. And right now I'm just going to use it to kind of prop my hand up. With TIG welding, you have to have steady hands.
In Japan, hat surgeon, #1, steady hand.
That's going to reflect on how your weld looks. I haven't TIG welded in so long, so yay, yay. This is what sucks without having like some type of actual welding table. Right now I'm just gonna throw 2 more tacks. One, basically, there's not corners, but I'm doing 4 tacks all the way around. And yeah.
This is your captain speaking.
Struggle is real.
And what is your problem, man? Why you want to work so hard, huh?
And the reason why I'm holding this is it's called post-flow. The gas is going to cool the weld, which doesn't allow, I don't know the proper termage. Maybe some of you guys are actual welders, because I'm not. It protects the weld. There you go, another tack. Oh, I put that right next to it. It's all right, doesn't really matter. So when I TIG weld, obviously I'm not gonna do the entire thing. It's gonna be, you know, small sections. So this, for example, is perfect. I'd weld this whole little section here, and then weld to here, and then maybe stop, and then weld, so on and so forth. I am gonna weld, I'm not gonna get all of it because it's gonna become boring.
Yeah, man, America want to see us live.
So I'm gonna do a couple welds so you guys can see, and then move on to the next thing. These are always kind of tricky. Again, one of those situations where it's not enough hands, but I'll make it happen. You gotta kind of like hold. Ooh. Maybe I should wait for it to cool down or put some gloves on, because this baby's still hot. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do it. It's too hot.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah! Help me, Tom Cruise!
Let me get some gloves on. All right. Tricky stuff. Almost got it. There we go. I believe this is a 13 millimeter. I don't use impact guns or impact tools or anything on these because I've noticed that, I don't know, 30% of them actually strip out because the nut kind of overheats when you go too fast. So I always do them by hand. And then whenever you're doing exhaust work, you always want to tighten your clamps or flanges because the exhaust may be sagging because the clamp's not tight and you don't know, and you make the rest of the exhaust, it's not going to be good. So you don't have to go like crazy tight, but just snug it up so that you know it's sitting straight. I know it sucks to have power tools, but trust me. Alright, that's pretty tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically bring the mid pipe, kind of get an idea, and then mark it with a permanent marker. And whenever you're doing exhaust work, your cuts need to be straight. So if you're using like a chop saw, you'll be good as long as, you know, the pipe is flat on the platform of the saw. If you're doing a hand, like a die grinder, like a cutoff wheel, you got to be careful because your cuts will walk. And you won't even know because you have to cut all the way around. It needs to be straight. It needs to sit flush here, especially when TIG welding. MIG welding, you know, you can kind of stretch your weld out. TIG welding, you can't. So take your time when making your cuts.
Look at me, America. Look how Tron is living.
All right, so I'm gonna do things a little bit different. Usually I use a permanent marker and just mark off. I marked off the area where it needs to be cut, but I'm gonna try this tape technique. It took me a couple of tries. Literally, as soon as you put the tape around, it doesn't line up with the other one, and that's because your tape line isn't squared up with the pipe. So I think I pretty much got it. I'm gonna try this, see if it's easier or makes life a little bit better. It's gonna be a little loud on the die grinder. So, here we go. It's about to get real messy in here. I stopped there because I don't want the pipe to drop and hit the floor. So I'll just break it up.
Don't you put that evil on me!
So you guys can see that's a pretty straight cut. I needed this bend right where it is. I want it to be kind of tight to the flex pipe. So I just gotta flatten this out or grind it down, make it straight. You need this pipe as straight as possible. Now, after using the die grinder, chop saw, however you're cutting your pipe, I deburr the edges and the inside. Just the extra step that I go. So I just went over it with my die grinder with a flat disc. Just kind of, you know, went around, and then also on the inside, I just kind of went around quick to deburr it. You can see there's nothing in there. And we got a clean edge. So this pipe is all good to be test fitted. This is actually working out pretty well, I'd say. And I'm gonna rotate the exhaust. As you can see, it's like an S-bend. You don't want it all the way over here because then it's very close to that hanger. So what I'll do is I'll just sit back here and I'll rotate it, and it will move up, which is fine, and it's centered with the hangers. I just wish. I wonder how it would look straight. Actually looks better straight. Might even cut that off. It sucks. This bend is just so aggressive for this car. It's actually not too bad there. It's a little close to the hanger, but you have to keep in mind as well is where your hanger placement is going to be. You know, if your pipe is up too high here, you want your hanger to essentially go straight across. And now look at that gap it's got if the hanger's here. So, yeah, this just isn't going to be it. I don't like it. I'm going to have to do the straight. Yeah. Let me see how the second piece is. Alright, so I'm just gonna see how the rest of the exhaust goes. As you can see, this is like this is basically opened up, so you can actually slide it in like so. It's a nice piece. That's why I like SpeedFactory stuff from an installer standpoint. It's really nice and easy. So as you can see, around there. I don't have any pole jacks, which kind of sucks. So let's see what I have. I got the pipe fitted, basically kind of where I want it. It slips inside there, so now I'm going to throw this piece in the vise to kind of support it, so I can tack it. So like I said, for now, I'm just going to tack this piece. I could weld it all the way around because it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference because it's not, doesn't need to move any certain way. It just needs to be true to the flex plate. rotate the pipe a little bit. Perfect example of failure. The tungsten touched the stainless. Once that happens, you gotta just basically reset. It was just a little bit, so I'm not gonna clean the tip right now. It's just for a tap, so I'm just gonna continue. Rotate the pipe a little bit. I always do 4 tacks. Obviously, simple math. 4 is more than 2. 4 is better than 2. I don't want it to break loose as I'm trying to like put the exhaust up and move stuff around. So. You could actually even put a couple welds, like not full welds, but you know, like 1/4 inch, whatever it is. I just like to tack stuff, I don't know why. We'll do one more rotate. And then we should be good. I might actually just weld this thing up. Maybe I'll test fit it one more time just to see, make sure. The thing is once you weld it and if something isn't right, you have to cut those and then it just starts getting messy and not clean. So that's why I just keep the tacks. There you go. Got our little tacks. I don't know why I always do that. I always think they're further than they are. Whatever. It's tack time. I'm not even gonna cut it. I'm just gonna bring you guys right over. Right about there. I'm not even gonna put the clamp on. The good thing is, I mean, this piece doesn't need to be like perfect because you have the flex pipe. Remember that. So there is some give in it. Yeah, perfect. Super happy with that. So now what I'm gonna do is, I probably should put the clamp, but I'm not. I'm gonna basically put it back up again and then just mark off. I already know where the S bend comes. And it's a slip joint, so if you cut it here, you know, you have some room to move in and out, which is perfect. So I'm gonna mark where I need to cut it and then cut a straight edge. That's it. Got my little mark there. I actually liked, there it is. I actually like that tape technique versus, you know, trying to draw a straight line or whatever the case may be. So, tape line it is. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna tape that up, I'm gonna cut it, and then figure out the next step maybe. Kinda wanna do things, I wanna try things different. I always do the exhaust the same way, and I don't know if it's easier or not. So Usually I'll always, I got pole jacks. That's another reason why I want to kind of do things different. I don't have them yet. Nobody like stocks them around here. Everything's online. So once I cut this, I'm gonna put it up. And usually I'll put the whole exhaust together, run it, route it, and then the last thing that I'll do is mount the hangers. But in this case, this piece is pretty straightforward. I think once I cut this, I'm gonna actually look into putting the hangers so it kind of supports this as I'm going along. All right, so I just ground, you guys can kind of see both welds off, and focus, it's loose. So hopefully, yeah, there we go. So I could still use this for a hanger down the road. But this is the crucial part that I needed. I'll probably just throw it on here, kind of clean it up a little bit. And then it should just slide right on. I should probably clean this up before I, look at that. Nice. So, got this piece here. And like I said, I'm just gonna weld basically right here on both sides. And that's gonna be good for that one.
Yeah, they still trying to find a way to win. How the God, that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, God with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gonna let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. They still trying to find a way to win. How the God, that's when it all begins.